So when I first started out in property, the number one thing I struggled with was finding property deals. And this was for two reasons. One, my actions weren't big enough, and I'm going to come on to the amount of action that's required to find good deals, especially when you're starting out. And two, I was crippled by a limiting belief. I had this limiting belief instilled in me that great deals didn't really exist. The market was too hot. I was going to get outbid on everything. And these belief systems, they don't serve you. And what happens is when you have limiting beliefs, it affects the actions you take, and then the actions you take or don't take, of course, affect your results. And I'm going to do a separate video on the importance of having the right belief systems, because there's some pretty profound stuff that I wanted to share with you guys. And so in this video, I just want to share everything I've learned about finding good property deals. And I think I've had a very unique perspective being on the other side of the fence, if you like, also working as an estate agent earlier on in my career, as well as having an estate agency business. So I understand how the estate agency mind works, how estate agents think, and how to, of course, work with estate agents the right way in order to get them on your side and, of course, hopefully get good deals sent to you. There are other ways to find deals, of course, with direct to vendor that I want to touch on, and I'm currently buying a property at the minute. In fact, we just purchased a property. We're about to start converting to a 7-bedroom HMO that was found direct to vendor, and I'll share how we did that amongst a few other development sites. Of course, we're about to start construction on next month or two, which was found direct to vendor. But the first thing you need to do if you want to find property deals is identify the area you want to target. And you've got to get specific, because a lot of people create this big wide range. Oh, I'll look anywhere if there's a good deal. But the reality is you want to become an expert in a market. You want to really immerse yourself in a market, because when you immerse yourself in a market, you get much more conviction in your numbers. And the more conviction you have in your numbers, the more confident you can be in your negotiation and in your offers. And then also, once you're performing in an area, and what I mean by performing is actually transacting and buying, it means you're going to have more trust with estate agents. They're going to see you've got a track record and you can perform on your offers, which means they're going to be more confident sending deals your way. And so in order to become an expert in an area, in a market, I call it getting intimate. You got to get in proximity and get intimate with the market. And there's a number of ways to do that. And so the first thing you want to do is just spend time on Rightmove. I know it sounds crazy, I know it sounds simple, I know it sounds obvious, but the more time you spend looking at deals, you're going to see patterns that emerge. You're going to see what 3-bedroom semi-detached houses sell for on the high end, sell for on the low end. You're going to see which streets might be better for certain house types that might suit HMOs a little bit better. And the more time you spend, you're just going to get a better pulse on market values, capital values in the area. The second thing you want to do is attend networking events in the local area and meet people that are actively doing deals. And you basically want to ask to go and spend time with them. This was something that really changed that limiting belief for me, which was there are no deals out there. The deals are too hard to find. This is never going to work. I attended a networking event in the area where I bought my first property, which was Coventry. And for the first well over 12 months of my journey, I couldn't find a property deal. In my head, what I taught from the person I was learning from at the time was if you find a deal, you'll be able to find the money. I was working as an estate agent. I was saving up a small deposit. I knew that I could just get resourceful one way or another. And so I thought I just want to go out and find a deal. And if I can't fund it myself, I'll find someone to partner with and come in on the project with me. But it was not until I attended a networking event where I met a gentleman called Paul, who told me that he was transacting on like one deal a week. And he showed me around some of his deals. I asked him, I said, I don't understand how you're doing this. Can you show me some of your projects? And so by seeing some of his projects, that for me was evidence this belief system I was holding on to wasn't true. And we question all of our beliefs except for those we truly believe. And in order to change or replace a limiting belief, one of the first things you need to do is find evidence to suggest and to showcase why that belief system is not true. And this is what that did for me. It completely just smashed that limiting belief. And then I also had that belief system, what one man can do, I can do. So I thought, well, if this guy Paul can come across these deals, I just need to look at what he's doing and I need to replicate that, because success leaves clues. He has success, he has the results that I want. And so if I spend time with him, I can figure out what he's doing in order to get those results. And so, like I say, attend the networking events. And the key with these networking events, because some people say, oh, are these events valuable? Is that event valuable? Is this mastermind or course valuable? My answer is always, is whenever you're attending an event, a course, a mastermind, you're listening to a book, you're listening to a podcast, it is down to you to extract the value. Because I know people that have been to the same property crash course that have had a huge amount of success since and attribute that crash course to being the inflection point in their journey that encouraged them to go on and take the action. On the flip side, I've spoken to a lot of people that said, oh, I attended this crash course and it wasn't that valuable and I feel like it was a waste of time, when it was the exact same event they went to. The difference is one person showed up and said, you know what, I'm going to take as much value for this. I'm going to show up high energy. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to look at what other people are doing. I'm going to introduce myself to others. I'm going to find people that have success that I don't have. And I'm going to, like I say, extract maximum value out of this. Other people go up, sit at the back, don't take any notes, and they want to look for reasons of why it's not going to work. And so if you go to these networking events in your local area, you owe it to yourself to go and introduce yourself to at least 2 or 3 people. I was a very shy, unconfident guy, which might surprise some. I was really not, I lacked a lot of confidence when I was younger. I was quite shy. I had a bit of a lisp. I wasn't confident in the way I came across, in the way I looked. I was very insecure. One thing that helped me with this was sales, is working as an agent where you're client facing, as well as property where you have to negotiate. You have to become a people person. But you go to these networking events, you show up, you introduce yourself to people, you find people that are doing deals and transacting in your area that you want to operate, then ask if you can spend time with them. Say, oh, I'd love to come and see your deals. And actually what you'll find is most people are actually very hospitable, and they're more than happy to show you around their projects because they're proud of it and they want to help others. I know there's going to be people listening to this thinking, why would anyone want to show someone else, a complete stranger, around their property deals for free? But you'll be surprised. If you don't ask, you don't get. The same thing is with social media. Find people on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, that are property investors in your area, and just connect with them and see what deals they're doing, what roads they're buying on, what strategy they're doing, and just try and get in proximity with them. Pay if you have to get in proximity with them. I paid a lot of money when I was starting out my property journey to get in the right rooms. I just saw it as a massive investment in my network and in my knowledge that was just going to have a huge upside and ROI throughout my career. And then lastly, another great way to immerse yourself in the market, which is something I've been doing a lot recently because we're starting to buy a bit more property with one of my construction partners in like near Birmingham in the Midlands. And it's an area I kind of know of, but it's not an area I know the property market. And so one thing I've been doing is spending a lot of time in the planning portal, looking at what planning applications have been submitted and what the feedback's been from the council, seeing what roads and what house types people are getting approval for 7 and 8 bedroom HMO conversions, and then looking at Rightmove sold prices and figuring out what do they buy that property for, and trying to create a story. And you do that enough times, you can begin to see actually the councils like this, they like these areas, that area is a no-go. And so all it comes down to is just immersion. And the best way to learn anything is through immersion. So I can promise you it's unreasonable that you won't get a good pulse on the market and become an expert in a market if you just spend a lot of time doing the things that I've just mentioned. And so in terms of actionable steps of actually finding and identifying property deals, this is, like I've said in a previous video, one of the most important skills of a property entrepreneur. Getting good access to deals, which is what we call deal flow. And then of course the second skill, being able to raise capital. Third skill, being able to build a right team to deliver the projects and project manage or oversee the delivery and management of investments or development opportunities. But in terms of getting good deal flow, there are 2 main ways that you can do this. One is through working with estate agents, and the other one is going direct to vendor. Vendor meaning homeowners, the owners of the property, the sellers of the property, and just going direct to them where there's no middleman, there's no agent involved. Where you're going to get the best results with agents is when you're building a relationship with them. It's an investment in the relationship, because in order to get the best opportunities and the best deals, you want to stay what's called top of mind with these agents, which means when they come across a good opportunity, they think of you first and they call you. But in order to build these relationships in the first place, you just need to view a lot of properties in the market. So coming back to getting in proximity with your market, getting intimate with your market, one of the best ways to do that is just to go and view as many properties as you can. Of course, you don't want to be wasting anyone's time, but if you're serious about transacting and buying properties in an area, either deals for yourself or you're working as a property sourcer that's representing investors, they're going to be buying these properties. By going and viewing as many properties as you can, it's going to give you reference points. Reference points on what certain properties are going to be worth, what end values could be, what properties work best, what roads have certain house types and house layouts that work best for certain strategies, like I've already said. But by also doing that, you're going to meet a lot of estate agents, and ultimately you're going to meet some estate agents that you can build better relationships with than others. I remember when I was an agent, I was a young guy, I would get on with the younger agents that were a similar age. Maybe we had mutual friends because we went to schools near each other. But I also know if you're a middle-aged woman, you're going to get on better with the middle-aged female agents. Everyone's going to be different. And of course, you want to try to build relationships with everyone, but just naturally, you are going to find some estate agents you gel with better than others. And those that you do get on with, you really want to double down on those relationships. You want to spend time with them. You want to invest time and money with them, looking after them, not by giving them kind of under the counter envelopes full of cash for getting good deals, but like build friendships with them, connect with them on socials, connect with them on WhatsApp, actually take a genuine interest in who they are. And of course, you're going to be rewarding them by buying properties through them. If you can make their job easier because you can offer on properties and perform, then they're happy. They want to be making commission. They want to be making sales. They don't want to be doing 20, 30, 40 viewings on a property. They just want to be able to call someone up and say, hey, I've got this good opportunity. Do you want to come have a look at it? Because they know that you can perform. And also I want to share like some first principles of finding deals, whether it is with agents, whether it is with direct to vendor stuff, which we'll come on to. Is first thing is, of course, have the belief system that the deals are out there. Find evidence to suggest that the deals are out there by getting in proximity and building relationships with people that are doing deals. The second thing is massive action creates massive results. More action creates more opportunity. And the problem is, number 3, most people underestimate the level of action required to get a result. If you're viewing 2 or 3 or 4 properties and expecting to get a great result and get offers out and get 1 or 2 offers accepted, it's not enough. It might happen if you have the wind behind your sails and the universe aligns and you're a bit of stroke of luck, but it's unreasonable. When you're starting out, like 10x the level of volume, what you think you need to do, 5 or 10x that, and then go and do that. Like, get unreasonable with your actions. If you want unreasonable results, you have to be unreasonable with your actions. But what will happen is, the more you do it, the better you get. The better you'll get at spotting opportunities, the better you'll get at qualifying which properties are worth viewing and investing time in, and where you might have to view 20, 30, 40. I know people that had to view 50 properties in order to get their first deal secured at a great price. Now they've only got to view 3, 4, or 5 because they can quickly qualify or disqualify the property. They've got good relationships with the agent, so they can have a meaningful conversation over the phone before they even decide to go out. So take massive action. Understand it is going to be hard at first, but as I always say, it's meant to be hard, and it's hard until it isn't. The more you do of something, the better you get, the easier it gets. So coming on to direct to vendor marketing, which is where you're directly marketing to homeowners. And what you're marketing is essentially the fact that you're interested in buying their property. And there's a couple ways you can do this. What I found has got the best results is you can either send targeted letters, which is a letter that basically says something along the lines of, hey, dear homeowner, please excuse the direct approach. My name is XYZ of XYZ company. I'm a property investor in the area. Or if you're starting out, sometimes it's worth saying, I'm a first time buyer in this area and I'm looking for a property on this road. And ideally put the name of the road, because you want to make it look like you've specifically targeted that property. So sometimes how you want to do this is you get the template letter and then you create a spreadsheet of all of the addresses you want to target, and you do a mail merge. And that mail merge means, for example, at the top of the template letter, it has regarding XYZ property address, which automatically populates. Where you say, I'm looking to buy a property on XYZ road, that automatically populates from your spreadsheet. And then of course you have a call to action. So look, if you're considering selling, or even if you're just interested in knowing what someone might be prepared to pay for it, or what I might be prepared to pay for it, please give me a call on this number, or alternatively email me at this email address, and then put your name and your contact details. If you want to go a step further, have a bit of a brand set up, have a bit of a website set up, that's great. But you do enough of these, you're going to get results. The property I mentioned that we're buying direct to vendor, we've bought, which was a direct to vendor opportunity. We're converting to a 7-bedroom HMO. It's about a 575 to 600,000 pound GDV. We'll be starting next month. And that is a project I'm doing with my head of content. And of course, he's obviously spent a lot of time around me, learned a lot about property. He started going out on the weekends, on a Saturday or Sunday, and doing the targeted letter approach. And he did it for a number of weeks and didn't really get much of a result. But I kept saying, just keep doing the reps, keep doing the reps, keep doing the volume, because most people underestimate the level of action required. Lo and behold, after doing it for several weeks, he gets a call back from a vendor who really needed to sell the property quick because they'd found their dream home they wanted to buy, this new build they wanted to move into, and they had a tight deadline to move into that. And so they didn't want to hassle with estate agents. They didn't want to risk putting it on the market, finding a buyer that was a first-time buyer where it's questionable whether they get mortgage, whether they're in a long chain. They wanted someone they knew that could perform. And so, of course, we went around, viewed the property. It wasn't in great condition, which they knew. But that was also great for us because we're going to be stripping it back anyway and reconfiguring it for the new HMO layout. And so we made them an offer and we got it secured 20% below market value. And it's a great deal. I mean, there's going to be 6 figures profit in that project once it's done. And of course, we'll refinance it and it'll cash flow us several thousands for a long period of time. You know, we might own it for 10, 15, 20 years, who knows? And so the direct to vendor stuff works. The development site we're building 17 houses in, that was a direct to vendor letter we sent to the landowner. We used various mapping softwares and we sent letters out. We've sent out 1,300 letters in total. We had about 150 responses. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head. Half of them are saying we're not interested, but thanks for contacting us. Half of them are saying we are interested. What's your number? From that, we kind of qualified which ones we wanted to pursue. And then, of course, we made offers. And then, of course, we got a great deal agreed. So that's targeted letters. Another one is a bit of a more kind of mass marketing approach is where you send leaflets. So these are leaflets that just all look the same. They basically say something along the lines of, we want to buy your property, or we buy properties. Here's the key benefits of selling with us. No chain, quick timescales or flexible timescales, exchange and completion within 28 days maybe if you're confident in your timescales. A few other things could be offer in 24 hours, etc. Or no estate agency fees. Like, there's a few different benefits you can put. And then, of course, you have a phone number or an email address as a call to action. And that is like, if you send out thousands, then of course the phone's going to ring. You want to have good systems in place for when people call, so your phone's not blowing up. There's things like virtual answering services you can set in place where for like £1 per call, people will answer the phone, take some contact details, and then of course you can call them back at a specific time rather than you being out on a viewing or at the supermarket or picking the kids up from school and the phone's ringing and you can't answer it, or you got kids screaming in the back of the car, whatever it is. It's good to have kind of an answering service set up. If of course you've got the budget for it, but it's an worthwhile investment in my opinion. The ROI on your time is definitely there. In terms of other direct to vendor stuff, like Facebook groups are really good, but the reality is just letting people know that you're an investor and you buy property. I always say it, closed mouths don't get fed. The more people that know what you do and know your service and know what you're looking for, you'll be surprised just through your personal network, the amount of deals that come to you. You know, some people do things like they put vinyl stickers on their car, and sometimes you see these in the car park at property networking events where people have put on their car like, we buy houses for cash, etc. Or outside properties you own, you can put what's typically like an estate agent for sale board, but it has your property investment or development company's branding with a call to action, more properties required like this, please call XYZ. And of course, like, it doesn't cost you much, like maybe £100 or however much it is to get one of those boards designed and erected. But if hundreds of people are driving past it every single day, it's a worthwhile investment. The key is volume and frequency. Volume in terms of just doing as much as possible, frequency in terms of follow-up. I actually think it's better to send the same letter or leaflet or whatever it is to, let's say, 100 people 5 times than 500 people once. So definitely steer towards frequency while still doing volume, but a lot of the time the results come in the follow-up, so constantly following up with people. Final points are, like, to get deals agreed, you've got to be a good negotiator. You've got to be able to have the confidence to negotiate, to be able to sell, to be able to ask the right questions within a negotiation, and not be afraid of the confrontation side of negotiation, being able to ask the uncomfortable conversations to the agent or to the homeowner, knowing open questions versus closed questions, how to close, etc., etc. And then another key point for me, which worked really well, as from an agency perspective, like if someone does this for us as an estate agent, but also what I've done on all the deals I've agreed, is always put your offer in writing. It adds so much weight to the offer. You want to put your offer in writing, in an email. And what I did on the first few properties I bought, I would go into the estate agency office and I would actually hand deliver them the letter. And the letter would basically say, I'd like to confirm my offer of X amount. I'd put the amount in writing as well, subject to contract and subject to survey. And I'd very clearly explain how I was financing the purchase, who my finance broker was, my financial advisor, the source of funds, where the money was going to be coming from, and I'd attach a proof of funds as well. I would include my solicitor's details. I would include the type of valuation I'm going to be getting, whether it's a home buyer survey or a full structural survey, or it could just be a basic valuation. There's typically 3 levels of survey. There are more, but they're the main 3. And what I would also do is very clearly define the timescales of when I'm going to get those things done. So I said, upon offer being accepted, I am going to instruct my solicitors the same day. I'm going to put money on file for the searches. I'm going to be able to have those searches requested, and they should be back within 14 days or 21 days, whatever your solicitor advises you is a turnaround time for searches in that local authority. I said, upon offer being accepted, I'm also going to be able to pay for my valuation the same day and get it booked in within the next 7 to 14 days. So I'd be speaking to the surveyor I'd be wanting to use, or of course, if it was through a commercial finance broker, I'd be finding out from them how quickly they can get a valuer out. And then I'd clearly define a target timescale for exchange and completion. Of course, it's always subject to legals, but when you can clearly define a target timeline you're going to be working towards, it gives more confidence to the agent and to the seller. The agent wants confidence in you because their commission is on the line. They don't want to tie up the deal to someone that's going to be slow and is not going to be able to get the deal completed in a reasonable time frame, because they want their commission as soon as possible, and they don't want it tied up to someone that's going to be flaky or trying to renegotiate or going to pull out, because then they've got to put the property back on the market. It looks bad on them. They've got to do more viewings. And so for the estate agent, it gives them more confidence in you as a purchaser. But what that agent is also going to do is when they're presenting the offers to their seller, their client, and they've had Mr. XYZ builder, yeah, he's offered 160,000. Mr. and Mrs. Jones have offered 155,000. And then we've had this person who's put their offer in writing. In fact, I forwarded you a copy, or here's a copy of the offer letter. They've offered this. They're able to perform in these timescales. I know who their solicitor is. I know who their finance broker is, etc., etc. It adds so much weight towards your offer. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen it as an agent, how common it is that sellers would rather go with a lower offer, but it's with a buyer that they're more confident that can perform, rather than just going for the highest offer on the table. So that's key. And then my only other rule of negotiation is always ask for a counter offer. If the offer gets rejected, you don't want to be shooting blind. You always want to ask for a counter offer. I always want to be knowing kind of where we need to be. So if they come back to you and say, oh no, your offer's been rejected, I said, that's fine. But I'm not prepared to increase until I kind of know where your client stands and what their counter offer is. And then they're going to come back to you and they're going to say, okay, we're happy to accept X. And then just gives you more steer and more guidance. But these are kind of my best tips on finding property deals. This is just what's worked for me. Take it or leave it, but hopefully that was valuable for you guys. As always, comment below your biggest takeaways and any other questions you want me to cover on future videos. Peace.